sitting any way that feels right for you, wiggling in, and just taking a moment, just closing your eyes, letting yourself sink into your sits bones. Checking in this morning to see how you're feeling today. Noticing your breath and the quality of that breath all the way down into the belly. And if it's not quite, just gradually getting it to move down into your belly. Allowing your shoulders to relax and soften. Each inhale, bringing the top of your head up a little closer towards the ceiling. Getting nice and long in your spine. And then we'll slowly bring our chin to our chest. Just letting the back of your neck stretch out for a moment or two. And then slowly taking your nose into a nice big circle. Checking in with your neck. And then slowly taking it in the other direction. Being gentle with yourself and only doing what feels right for you. And then bringing your shoulders up to your ears. We'll let those shoulders roll down our backs, bringing the fingers to the mat. And inhale, reaching up towards the ceiling. And exhale, letting those hands float back down like the rain is about to fall. And then inhale, reaching up. And exhale, back down. And let's do one more, reaching up. And this time, bringing your palms together, letting them float down to your heart center. Close your eyes again, and just setting an intention for your practice. Maybe that intention is to allow the sun to shine from the inside out today as we experience this cloudy day. And then we'll slowly bring the fingertips back to the ceiling, letting them float back down to the mat. Do a little side stretching. Let's take the left arm, reaching it up. And exhale, coming over. Taking a few moments to breathe here into that space. And then back to center. Slowly bringing the other arm up. And over to the other side. Seeing how this side feels. Breathing into that space. And then coming back to center, let's do a little twist, taking the left hand to the right knee, right hand behind, taking yourself over, nice twist, a few breaths all the way down into the belly. And then back to center. Let's fold forward today, moving over those hips. When you come to some resistance, just letting your head and neck relax and your shoulders. Breathing all the way up the back body. And then we'll slowly bring ourselves back up. Stretching those legs, give them a little wiggle. Maybe pointing and flexing your toes. And then we'll cross the legs in the other direction. If your legs are crossed. And then we'll take the other hand over to the other knee, looking over the other shoulder. Twisting it out, breathing into the belly. And then slowly coming back around and folding forward again, letting your head and shoulders relax. And then slowly making your way back up. Beautiful. Let's come onto our hands and knees. Get our spine moving this morning. So coming into table, fingers nice and wide, knees under the hips, and starting with our cat-cow. So rounding like a black cat. And then sinking the belly down like a sway back cow. Moving with your breath. Really getting rid of all that stale air as you exhale so that you can bring in fresh energy as you inhale. Beautiful. Let's come back into our table position. We're going to take the right leg out, toes are on the mat, and just gently pumping the heel back and forth just to wake up your calves here. Fire up those toes, hamstrings. And then we'll lift the leg up parallel to the mat. Toes are pointing down, pulling your belly button in. We're going to lift this leg up and down, so engaging muscles in your lower back. And remember to always listen to your own body. If it doesn't feel right for you, just don't do it. And then as you exhale, let's bring the knee into the nose, rounding your back. And then inhale, stretching your leg back out. Moving with your breath. Nice and gentle and fluid. Beautiful. Let's do one more. And sending that leg out, pointing your toes. Let's see if we can bring the opposite arm out for a little balance. So really engaging your core here. So bringing that belly button up. Focusing on a spot. Beautiful. Let's take that hand and knee back down. Taking a rest into child's pose. So your knees can come apart. Bringing your hips to your heels and taking a moment to rest your head either on stacked fists or with your arms outstretched, head to the mat. Breathing all the way up the back body, letting go. And maybe bringing your hands together, bringing those palms up into prayer behind your head. And then stretching your arms back out, we'll come back into our table position. Getting the knees back underneath the hips, wrists under the shoulders, stretching the left leg out and pumping that heel a few times. Noticing how this side feels compared to the other one. And then bringing your left leg up parallel to the mat, pulling your belly button in. Let's take that leg up and down, keeping a long line from the top of your head to your heel. And then as you exhale, we'll bring the knee to the nose. Inhale, stretching it out. Just moving with your breath. Do one more, bringing that knee in, stretching it out, pointing your toes. Let's take the opposite arm out for a little balance. Focusing on a spot, keeping your breath flowing. And then bring your hand and your knee back down. We'll just take our hips from side to side, little puppy dog wagging its tail. And then coming back to center, let's curl the toes under. We're going to come into downward facing dog. So peeling your hips up towards the ceiling, maybe bending one knee and then the other. Letting your head rest in between your arms. And making sure your fingers are wide so you're gripping the mat. And then maybe bringing both heels down towards the ground, hips up towards the ceiling, belly button pulling in, taking a breath or two here, downward dog. And then we'll slowly make our way to the top of the mat. Hanging out over your hips, maybe bend your knees if your back is tender. Maybe even swaying from side to side. And then coming back to center, coming back to stillness. Let's bend the knees and slowly roll ourselves up to stand. Keeping the chin tucked until you're feeling stable, and then maybe letting the shoulders roll back. A moment in mountain pose. So feet are hip width apart and letting your knees come above your ankles, hips, shoulders, and ears above the knees. Closing your eyes. Just noticing what muscles need to work in order to keep you standing. When everything's all nicely stacked up, bone on bone, muscles should be able to relax a little bit. And you can flutter your eyes open. Let's reach the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Bringing the palms together and back to our heart center. And once more, reaching up. This time, let's fold over the hips, letting the hands come down to the floor, letting your head relax. Taking a moment or two, just breathing here. And then to protect your back, let's squeeze the thighs together. You're going to reach big and wide, coming all the way up. And then bringing your hands back down to your heart. Beautiful. Let's do that again. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, folding back down. Squeezing those thighs. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, bringing them back down. Beautiful. Let's do one more, reaching up. And exhale, floating back down. We're going to hang out here. We're going to take the right leg and bring it back, bringing that right knee down to the mat, sinking down into your hips, getting that left knee in your armpits, hands on either side of your foot, taking a moment to settle, letting those hips relax. And then we'll bring both hands onto the left knee, sinking in maybe a little bit deeper. Maybe bringing your arms all the way up towards the ceiling, maybe looking up. Maybe even doing a slight back bend if your back allows it. Squeezing those thighs to keep your balance. We'll bring the palms together today, back down to our heart. And we'll do a little twist. Right elbow to the left knee. The left elbow comes up and just gazing across the fingertips. Pushing on your palms. Breathing all the way down into the belly. Good. And then coming back to center, bringing the hands back down to the mat. Let's curl the back toe, lifting that knee, coming into our high lunge here. Let's see if we can do that same routine on this side. So bringing your hands to your knee. So a little bit more work here. If it's too intense, you can come back down to your knee. And then see if you can bring your arms all the way up. So really squeezing the mat with your toes. Beautiful. Bringing your palms together, down to your heart. Maybe those legs are shaking. And then bringing your right elbow across, left elbow up. Coming into a little twist. Breathing here. And then bringing your hands back to your heart and then back down to the mat. Let's rock ourselves forward. Woo, really did a lot of work on those legs there. And hanging back over your hip. Let's bend the knees and slowly coming into our chair pose. Just because it's raining out there doesn't mean we can't work hard today. And then lowering yourself back down and rolling yourself back up to stand. Letting your shoulders relax, head coming up, standing nice and tall and mountain. Coming back with your eyes closed, checking in with how you feel, noticing how the left side feels compared to the right side. Noticing any sensations. Beautiful. Let's do the other side, reaching all the way up. Palms together and exhale, folding back down over your hips. Letting your head relax. And then we'll take left leg back. Sinking down into the low lunge, so left knee relaxes down. Getting the right knee in your armpit, hands on either side. And close your eyes as you allow everything to soften that doesn't need to be working here. And then we're going to engage the thighs, so squeezing them together to keep your balance as you come up. Your hands on your knee. And then taking your hands all the way up towards the ceiling. And again, looking up if you can, maybe doing a slight back bend. And then we'll bring the palms together and back to our heart. Good. Taking the left elbow across, right elbow comes up. So pressing on those palms as you gaze across the fingers. Breathing all the way down into your belly. Good. And then coming back to center, let's bring our hands down to the mat. Curl the toes under and lift that left knee up. So really squeezing into the mat, sinking down into your hips. Bringing your hands to the right knee. See how this side feels. Getting your balance here again. If it's too intense, bring that left knee back to the mat. And then reaching your arms back up towards the ceiling. Maybe looking up between those hands. Then bring the palms together, back to your heart. We're almost there, so twisting it out. Left elbow across, right elbow up. Gazing across the fingers. keeping your balance. Beautiful. And then back to center. Let's bring the hands back to the mat and bringing that back foot forward. And bend your knees, slowly rolling back up. Shoulders roll back and down. And let's come into a wide stance. So taking your feet nice and wide. Having your toes pointing out on a 45-degree angle. We're going to bend into the knees. Making sure the knees are facing in the same direction as your toes. Making sure you're feeling comfortable here, no knee issues. And then bringing your hands down towards your knees. You're going to take the right shoulder across towards the left knee. And then back to center. And taking that left shoulder towards the right knee. And back again. Let's do one more each side. Breathing into any space that's a little bit tight. Beautiful. And then bringing your arms out, sinking in a little bit deeper. Let's reach the arms up, straightening the legs, palms come together. And then exhale, sinking back down. Reaching the arms out and straightening the legs and sinking back down. Beautiful. Let's do two more like that. Moving with your breath. Nice. And then sinking back. And we'll just take our hands back to the knees. Let's straighten those legs. We're going to bring the right foot to the back of the mat, left foot facing forward. Coming into warrior two, so sinking into the front knee, stretching your arms out, and then gazing across those fingertips. Allowing your shoulders to relax. Taking a few moments here, notice how you feel. And then we'll reverse it, bringing the right hand to the thigh, left arm reaching up and over. And let's fold forward, left hand to knee, right arm reaching up and over. And just to see how those shoulders are feeling, we'll make a nice big circle. And then the other direction. And then bringing your hands to the mat, we're going to walk our fingers to the center so our feet are facing each other, letting your head hang down. Maybe taking a look at the world from a different perspective today. Taking a moment, letting yourself breathe a few times here. And each exhalation maybe sinking a little bit deeper. Allowing things to soften and release. And then walking your hands to the back of your mat, we're going to switch our foot. That right foot is going to point towards the back of the mat. And then we're going to come up into our warrior two here. So sinking in, back foot is parallel, arms stretching out. Relaxing the shoulders, gazing across those fingertips. And then we'll reverse it, bringing the left hand to the thigh, right arm reaching up and over. Breathing into that space. And then folding forward, Let's reach the left hand to the front, the back of the mat, I guess. Breathing here. And then letting your arm go into a few circles, seeing how the shoulder feels. And then the other direction. Bringing your hands back to the floor, walking your feet parallel to each other again. Maybe walking your hands over to the left ankle as you bring your nose down towards your knee. And then back to center. Let's go over to the other side. And then back to center again. Let's wiggle those feet in far enough so that you can bring your hips down and come into a little froggy squat here. So if you can get your heels down, fantastic. If you need to keep your heels up and use your hands, that's okay too, wherever you're at. You can bring your hands in and use your elbows to move your knees apart. It's fantastic. Just taking a moment, allowing your hips to relax and settle. Nice. And then we'll ease our way onto the floor, stretching the legs out in front, wiggling in, feeling your sits bones nice and solid. We'll bring the left leg in, keeping that right leg out. We're going to reach all the way up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, folding forward. And then inhale, stretching back up. Breathing in and then exhale. Flowing with your breath. And the next time you fold over, just hanging out wherever you end up. And then we'll slowly come back up. Let's bring that left knee up with us. Crossing your leg over. Bringing the right arm around, coming into a spinal twist, left arm behind. Sitting up nice and tall, looking over your left shoulder. Breathing into your belly and massaging those internal organs this morning. And then slowly unwind. Let's take that leg out and we'll bring the right knee in, foot by your thigh. Sitting up tall, let's reach up. Inhale and then exhale, folding down. And we'll do 4 like that, moving with your breath. And on your 4th one, hanging out over your leg. Taking a few moments, breathing into any tension. Slowly rising up. Let's bring the right knee up with us, crossing it over. Left arm wrapping around, right arm behind, looking over your shoulder. And then slowly unwind, stretching that leg back out. Give your legs a little shake, maybe loose fists tapping behind your kidney area, down your hips, all the way down those legs. They worked so hard this morning. And then up the inside, just give them a loving tap. Good. We're going to lay all the way down onto the mat now with your knees bent. And getting yourself comfortable. You can lift your hips a little bit and then set them back down so that your spine feels nice and relaxed. Shoulders relaxed. Maybe let your knees rest in on each other. And just bringing your hands to your belly. Eyes closed. Taking a few moments to breathe into your hands. Beautiful. Let's take our arms up towards the ceiling and then bending your elbows. We're going to bring our hands behind our head and just giving your neck a little massage with your thumbs. Elbows relaxing out. And then when you're ready, you can pull your belly button down towards the floor. We're going to lift the head up and just holding here, making sure you're continuing to breathe and you're not holding your breath. So engaging the core, keeping it pulled down, breathing all the way down into the belly. If you want, you can lift your feet up, having your shins parallel to the floor. And inhale and exhale. And then on your next exhale, let's rest the head back down. Taking a breath here, breathing in. And then as you exhale, lifting back up. Inhale, lowering back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Moving back and forth. And we'll do 4 more. Taking your time, feeling those core muscles maybe beginning to shake. And 1 more, you can do it. Lowering back down, letting your feet come to the ground and just letting your knees relax open. We're going to take our hands and just let our hands rub our belly, rubbing all those muscles that just worked. And then we'll take our hands behind our head again, keeping your knees open. I'm going to do little butterfly crunches here. So lifting up, and we'll just lift, small movements, looking up, lifting up, pulling that belly button in towards your spine, making sure you're still breathing freely. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering back down. Let's bring the knees in for a hug and gently rocking from side to side. Beautiful. Bringing the right knee in, let's stretch that left leg out, maybe pointing and flexing your feet. Maybe making some circles with your ankles, one way, and then the other. And then we'll switch sides, bringing the left knee in, right leg out. Point and flex again. And circles with your ankles both ways. Nice. Let's bring our feet flat to the floor, setting your heels up underneath your knees. Feet are hip width apart. Hands resting down by your sides. Connecting back with your breath. And on an exhale, let's push into the heels, lifting your hips, making sure your neck has enough room as you hold your hips up towards the ceiling. Knees are hip width apart. Breath is moving freely and easily. And then very slowly, we're going to lower ourselves back down towards the mat. Feeling each of those vertebrae touching down. Nice. Let's take the right toes up to the ceiling, pointing your toes, and we're going to start with some small circles, getting bigger and bigger. And when you have a nice big circle, you can take it in the other direction, starting out big and getting smaller and smaller. And when you have a little dot, let's just rest the right ankle onto the left knee, letting that right knee ease away from your body. And you're welcome to stay like this, or if you want, you can thread your hands through and bring that left knee in towards your chest. Breathing here into any tight spots. If you have any issues with that right knee, just flex your right foot. And then releasing your hands, let's bring both feet back down to the mat. We'll take the left leg up, pointing our toes and doing those spirals again on the ceiling. Getting bigger and bigger. And then moving in the other direction. Getting smaller and smaller. And then resting that left ankle on the left or on the right knee, allowing the left knee to move away from your body. And if you want to stay just like this, that's fine, or you can take your hands and thread them through, bringing that right knee in, sending your breath into any tight spots in your hip. And then releasing your hands, bringing both feet back to the mat. Let's stretch our arms out into a T shape or cactus shape, if that works. We're going to lift the hips a few inches, sending them over towards the left, and then letting the knees float down to the right, making any adjustments so your shoulders stay resting on the mat. And then if you want, you can take your head in the opposite direction of your knees. Breathing all the way down the length of your spine. Just letting go allowing your back to unlock. And then head back to center along with your knees, lifting your hips so your spine can rest again. We'll bring the knees in for another little hug here, rocking back and forth. Bring your back a well-deserved massage. Placing your feet back on the mat, arms back out. This time we'll lift the hips and send them over to the right an inch or so, letting your knees float to the left, head to the right, shoulders relaxed, breathing freely and easily. Head and knees coming back to center. And we'll bring a hand on each knee, letting those knees go into a circle. Feeling this massage a little bit deeper down on your back and your sacrum. And then the other direction. Nice. Let's stretch both legs out nice and long and wide. Letting your arms rest by your side, closing your eyes for Shavasana, corpse pose. Feeling all that wonderful energy that we've just stirred up, flowing through your body, all the way from the tips of your toes, to the tips of your fingers, tips of your nose. Taking your breath all the way down into your belly. Eyes closed. Taking a few moments to appreciate all that your body has done for you. And while you're here, I'd like to share a poem, another Donna Fald's poem. I love her poems. It's called The Choice. Is it faith or fear that rises to the fore, affirmation or negation at the very core and center of the self? Will it be light or dark within the heart today? The icy grip of fear that knots and soars, leaving me to cower in the shadows. There is another way. I know it surely as I know the scent of spring. The choice of faith invites, invokes, calls forth from all creation, both the blessing and the lesson of the day. Whether faith or fear, the choice is mine alone. Each moment, choosing, stepping through the door, trusting that the path beyond will surely lead me home. And when you're you're ready, you can slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Taking a full breath into your belly. Slowly making your way back up to a seated position. Sitting up nice and comfortable. Collective breath in and out today. So taking a nice big breath in and letting it go. Shoulders relaxing, bringing your hands to your heart center, and may you choose faith, not fear. Namaste.